Hello, my friends. How are you doing out there today? It's great to see you for yet another video. And we are reaching that point in Donald Trump's presidency where we are starting to see the actual results of every nonsensical thing that he is doing. And of course, those of us that were paying attention said, hey, this is going to be really bad for the American people and the American economy if we elect Donald Trump and the country chooses to go along with what he's doing. And of course, since we live in America, the home of apparently the most spineless cowards on the planet that bow down to Donald Trump, of course they're all going along with what he's doing. So we are starting to see that fallout. And the time for blaming Joe Biden is over. It's done, my friends. They no longer get to blame Joe Biden and try to weasel their way out of all the fucking destruction that they are causing. Because it is 100% Donald Trump that started all the trade wars. It is 100% Donald Trump that got ICE all worked up into a frenzy. So if you look a little bit different in this country, you might get thrown on the ground and deported to a concentration camp. It is Donald Trump that has threatened to annex other countries. We cannot let them get away with this, is what I'm trying to tell you. Anytime somebody tries to blame Joe Biden at this point, we can point to at least those few very simple facts and say it's Donald Trump fucking up the whole goddamn thing. So we're going to talk today about, of course, Canada's response to it and how it's been actually pretty devastating to the American people. But the cool thing, I think, about my channel is I'm out here on the ground floor, my friends, out here driving a truck around America and watching these little telltale signs of things going wrong in America's supply chain. So we get to see a lot of different angles and shit around here about what's going on. And I think that's pretty cool. I wanted to touch a little bit, though, on a comment, and sometimes you guys bust my balls a little bit for reading too many of my comments. I read them so I understand what the fuck people are thinking out there, so I can try to talk some goddamn sense into their heads, my friends. It's tough. It's hard to talk sense into people's heads anymore these days, isn't it? It's a damn challenge. Anyways, when I was talking recently about the supply chain having parts of it that appear to be breaking as a truck driver and some experiences I have seen out here, I got the argument that I was full of shit, and they said that's not true because I see companies like Swift and Werner and Schneider. Those are three large trucking companies in America, for anyone that doesn't know. I see them buying new trucks, so everything must be a-okay. And that is the short-sightedness of Americans, my friends. If we're wondering how the economy is doing for the real working class people over there, just look to the billionaires. Oh yeah, everything's fine? Well then everything's fucking rosy over here, my friends. And I don't think that's a good thing to be looking at. See, I'm talking to the working class Americans. I'm not licking the boots of billionaires. Nobody expects that from me. So anyways, I thought that was kind of a fucking silly argument. But the point we're trying to get to is that Canada's response to America's bullshit is proving to be absolutely devastating to the American economy. And speaking more of that American short-sightedness, there's still a lot of hillbilly fucks over here saying we don't need Canada for anything. Hold on, it's hot in here. Hold on, there we go. Let me turn up that fan a little bit. I'm a chubby boy, my friend, so I gotta get some air going in here. Sorry, I'm not a professional YouTuber. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, the short-sightedness of American people, where they say we can do this alone. We don't need Canada. We have nothing that we need from Canada. We might even turn Canada into the 51st state. And Canada, honestly, you guys have been nothing short of impressive in your response to how you're going to handle all this shit. On that note, I want to give a real quick shout out to my good Canadian friend Guard the Leaf, who runs one hell of a YouTube channel, my friends. He is growing rapidly. He deserves every bit of it. I'm not one of those envious YouTubers that's worried he's going to catch up to me. I hope he does, and I hope he passes me. And I lean on him a lot for information that I'm looking for when it comes to Canada. I'm going to put his link in my normal pinned comment. I don't know how much poll I have around here, but he's like a little under 2,000 subscribers away, I think, from his first 60,000. The dude is worth a watch, worth a subscription to go check out what a Canadian's point of view is on what America is fucking doing. Anyways, I looked at a lot of what he was talking about today, and really wanted to get into this because the fact of the matter is we live in a global economy, for one. That's one thing we need to know. And America is now in sort of one of our find out stages as we start to realize how intertwined with Canadian industry and Canadian people we actually fucking were. Now, there's a lot of people in America that probably already knew that. They're just not running this place, or we'd probably be doing a better fucking job, wouldn't we? Absolutely. So there's a lot of people that already knew that. And look, I've already told you guys before all this bullshit with Donald Trump started, I didn't really know a whole lot about Canada. It's the country up there that like kind of keeps quiet and minds their business for the most part, and you know, nice, polite, quiet neighbors. That's what I always thought. And then I don't remember how our relationship started, how our friendship started, my friends. But it was either me talking about Donald Trump's bullshit tariffs or Donald Trump's bullshit 51st state rhetoric. And I made a video on it because I was calling that chubby bitch out. And the Canadians, so many Canadians just flocked to me and said, we got you, we support you. And maybe they just wanted to see a sensible American that wasn't like talking all kinds of stupid shit about how Canada is now our enemy. This is how MAGA brains work, my friends. We used to like be opposed to Russia in this country. They've been an enemy for at least as long as I've been alive. I don't necessarily know the history of it, but one day Donald Trump says, we love Russia, and they go, fuck yeah, we love Russia. And it's unfortunate that you guys are now the target of a bunch of simple-minded dipshits that only know what they're told to know. And one day Donald Trump said, we don't like Canada, and they said, fuck Canada, we don't like Canada. And those guys are fucking idiots now, aren't they, my friends? There's something else. Oh boy, I lost track of what I was saying. Anyways, when this all started, one of the things I said was that this requires a global response at this point. Unfortunately, in America, a fascist has risen to power. And of course, that ruffled a few feathers, a few people saying, you handle your own fucking problem at home. And believe me, we're trying. We're working through the steps to kind of figure this out. But I said it's going to require people from other countries and world leadership to step up in a way to not take Donald Trump shit and back him the fuck down one way or another. And I was pleasantly surprised by Canada's response and sort of how they spearheaded this movement against American products, American tourism, and all those things, which I promise we're going to get into. I'm a little bit long-winded sometimes. There's some buildup here for a reason. But I remember saying that it requires a global response at this point. The people of the world and the leaders of the world are going to have to stop this. And speaking of reading comments, I do that all the fucking time. The last time I mentioned that, somebody asked me, they said, that's bullshit. Name one time that the world has stepped up to stop a fascist or a dictator. I said, well, that's pretty easy. That's when the world stepped up and stopped Hitler. And he goes, well, that doesn't count because the Holocaust already happened. And sometimes I read this shit and my brain breaks, my friends, and I go, what in tarnation are we actually talking about? I'm not a Holocaust denier. I'm not saying that the Holocaust didn't happen. See, the Holocaust was the reason that the world had to stop Hitler. You understand? It's not like Hitler was sitting in his studio apartment in fucking Austria painting pictures, and then Winston Churchill just blows a fucking gasket and says, I'm sick of this fucking painter in Austria, and then he sends the military of the world to kick in his front door and take him into custody. It was the Holocaust that caused the response. So yes, that happened, which caused the world to respond to it. Now, is America going that way? Potentially. It potentially is, and it's so hard to say that. Like, that's possibly what's happening. Donald Trump wants to mobilize the military against the American people. Think about how scary that is. Donald Trump thinks that if you are not in lockstep with him, then you are an enemy to America. All right, this was once a country where we had checks and balances, co-equal branches of government, and disagreement that is what brought us to where we were. Now, if there's disagreement, well, you might get the military turned against you. You understand? This is why I say that it takes a world response at this point. And these are a bunch of money-hungry, fucking greedy bastards. So Canada's response is the right response. Hit them in the fucking wallet, and also don't back the fuck fuck down. That's the thing about bullies. They thought they were just going to roll over Canada. They probably thought you were just going to give up your sovereignty. I don't know if I said that right. And just become Americans. Just give up your border and come over and bow down. And you fucking didn't. And that's so goddamn important. That's a huge fucking deal. So hitting them in the wallet, making, unfortunately, America feel the consequences of these fucking decisions is what needs to happen at this point. I always come back and say, I don't like saying that. I was born here. I was raised in the propaganda of America, of this being the best country on earth, and we can do everything on our own, and we're like the best there is, right? And I know that it's all bullshit. I get that, but that's the way I was raised. And watching as a fascist takes over that country, well, it's hard. It's not a whole lot of fun. But the point I want to get to, and I know there was a lot of buildup there, I had a lot on my mind, is that the response from Canada is absolutely devastating the American economy right now. I want to be clear, it's not just Canada. Obviously, it's Mexico. They're not going to show up in this country now. They'll go to a concentration camp. It's the awareness being raised by the Canadian people and other countries around the world going, don't travel to America. Other world leaders have us on watch lists saying, don't fucking go there. Travel to America at your own fucking peril at this point. And it's the stupidest goddamn thing that we have ever done as a fucking country. All of this that Donald Trump says is bullshit. I understand that. He's got his fucking red hat dorks all convinced that we're bringing manufacturing back, and that's why we're doing all this, all while making no attempt whatsoever to bring manufacturing back. It's all bullshit. All I can think of at this point is it's specifically designed to isolate us, to cut us off from the rest of the world, bankrupt our asses, and what after that I don't really know, because we're not worth anything to them dead. I guess we'll just be peasants. I'm not really sure what's next. I'm really not. But the point I was making with that is there are things that America absolutely excels at, things we are possibly the best in the world at, and we are destroying those things right now. A huge thing is fucking tourism. Once again, shout out to my dude Guard the Leaf, who fucking I lean on him for his perspective as a Canadian, and he does really, really good research. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip around here and hoping for the best, you know, but he does really, really good research where he covered the huge declines in tourism, of course, all over America, but hitting places hard like Florida and Las Vegas. Las Vegas is getting fucking killed right now, my friends. And this is one of the industries that we actually excelled at. We should have been leaning into. We should have been building up. Not fucking worrying about if we get to sew fucking shoes together. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. And the reason all of that is happening is because so much of our tourism money comes from the Canadians who come here, especially now we're about to hit, what do they call it, the snowbird season. We're getting a couple months out from winter here, where you apparently, allegedly, you see a lot of Canadians head south to come out here, do some vacation stuff. Of course, they probably vacation here during the summer. Also, they must, because Vegas is fucking screaming right now that they ain't making any goddamn money. And the hits are just absolutely massive. And see, when you do that, all the shit rolls downhill is what I'm trying to say. So all these people in America that work in the tourism industry are now seeing major declines. They're losing their jobs, they're losing hours, they're getting cut down to part-time. And here's a nice, interesting kicker. You remember how Donald Trump was bragging about his no tax on tips? You remember that? Turns out that the people in Vegas are saying they're hardly making anything on tips. Brilliant, Donald. Yeah, no tax on tips because they're not fucking making any. Good one. Way to stand up for the American people there, Donald. I know they got like the stripper index too. Like the strippers are kind of like the truckers, except I don't know. I meant to come up with a funny thing to say there, but then it didn't sound good in my head, so I left it out of the video. Anyways, apparently the strippers know about it too, and I guess they're having a real hard time also, which is fine. I got like some cash over here tonight. Maybe I'll go make a stripper's night. I haven't really decided. Just stimulate the economy just a little bit, my friends, but apparently they're struggling a lot too. That's a really tough thing. Oh shit! What else was I trying to say? I got distracted. I started thinking about strippers. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm daydreaming at this point, my friends. My head's in the clouds. Anyways, trying to get back. I'm trying to get back to you. And I think we're back. So on top of that, with the tourism industry, the Canadian people have led this ban, basically boycott is the word I'm looking for, of American products. They're standing in the grocery stores reading the fucking labels, and if it has anything to do with America on it, they're putting it back on the shelf and going to buy other products. As far as my understanding, even if that product costs a little bit more, they're going to buy that. They're forming all these new trade agreements with different countries around the world and cutting America completely out of the fucking picture, and we deserve it because that's what we've done. That's what we've done to our country at this point. And I feel like I had more points. I always feel like I do. I could go on for a fucking hour, my friends. I really could. And probably still not get too tired, I don't imagine. But this kind of shit gets me fired up, doesn't it? But the point is, I want to say, I don't do these videos when I cover things on Canada. God, I'm still sweating like a fucking pig over here. When I'm covering Canada, I don't do it to kiss the Canadians' ass and hope, oh my God, I hope they like me. Look, this relationship started by accident. We didn't know each other, and I was calling out the bullshit that Donald Trump was doing, and that's what I'll continue to do. There is a point in your life where you stand up for what's right and wrong, okay? And you know, I could wave the American flag and sing some Lee Greenwood and some bullshit like that, but the fact of the matter is we are in the wrong right now. The United States is in the wrong, attacking Canada, attacking Canada's people, and it had to be said, because we got too many goddamn bootlickers in this country that are refusing to do the right thing, are refusing to speak up because they're cowards. They're scared little boys that will not speak up against the fascism that is rising in America. The point is, Canada has hurt us economically. They have, and we had it coming. That was a response to the bullshit that we started, all right? There are a lot of Americans, my Canadian friends, that are on your side. I promise you that. I assure you of that. They are just as confused as me with this sudden hatred towards Canada. It doesn't make a bit of fucking sense. But I guess I just wanted you to know that. I'm not an outlier here by any means. There are a lot of people that are confused by it, straight up offended by it, and are willing to take the hit on the chin to make sure you guys stand up for yourselves and fucking hold on to your sovereign nation and your economy and make better decisions going forward, because we don't. We fucking don't make good decisions at all. With that said, I didn't get all my points in this, but I guess that's okay. Good job, Canada, standing up for yourselves. Love you guys. Bye now.